August 28, 2005. I am the last sister to leave our Congregational Center at Holy Angels in New Orleans. I looked at everything for the last time. I turned off all the lights, locked the doors, while at the same time, I knew that nothing would ever be the same again.
Any semblance of life as it was before Katrina is gone.
What do these kinds of challenges and experiences do for a person in leadership at a time like this?
What helps us to lead from within when we're in the midst of this kind of a situation?
The first challenge was, at this time, how to move the sisters as quickly as possible out of harm's way, with the storm getting worse at every moment. The question again was, how long would we be away? 8 of our sisters died during this time, and so we had to seek places. We even buried one of our sisters as far away as Houston. Our evacuation plan, we had a very good one, called for the use of ambulances, motor vehicles, vans, cars, and each car was equipped with water, food, cell phones, gas cards, and other emergency needs, because we had no idea how long it would take us to get to central Louisiana, which was our destination. We evacuated 71 sisters from our mother house. That included those in nursing home. When we left the mother house, the lead ambulance driver, and my car was immediately behind the lead ambulance driver. We exited at the Superdome and parked directly in front of it, and were told that this was the end of the journey, that they were not able, they were given directions from the governor that we were to remain at the Superdome. And normally, I am not a very aggressive person. It was clear the storm was headed our way. I got out of the car, I had my cell phone in my hand, and with everything in me, I yelled, "You are going to take us to where we contracted to go. This is a breach of our contract, and I will call our attorneys. They are available at this moment." And in 5 minutes, we were on our way.
Two weeks later, I was finally able to get a special pass back into the city. I had to go through several military checkpoints. Finally, I reached our Congregational Center, which was now a military command post. Men and women, armed and in fatigues, were everywhere. I wondered if they would even permit me on the property. But miraculously, no one stopped me. I asked one of them who was in charge. I learned that's a famous line to have in your pocket when you're dealing with the military. And I was sent up to the second floor of one of our buildings. I saw this young man behind a makeshift desk. I introduced myself to him, and before I knew it, found myself in this huge bear hug. He said to me, "What took you so long?" I kept telling my troops, I knew that the sisters would come. "Will you talk to my troops? Will you lead us in prayer?" In moments, he had all of the troops seated on the dead grass now, in front of the Sacred Heart statue, in the front of our property. I was so touched by his kindness and tenderness to the troops, and I expressed gratitude to all of them, while being personally taken aback by the incomprehensible stories I saw written on their faces, stories of pain, stories of fatigue and sadness. They were the first responders of the search and rescue mission in the city of New Orleans in the lower Ninth Ward surrounding Holy Angels. The military quickly became a ministry to us and have remained so up until this day. Even this weekend, I received word that some of them came back to Holy Angels for our sisters to pray for them because they're preparing to go to Iraq.
I have lived in New Orleans almost all of my life, never experienced a breach in the levee, and I was terrified. We are experiencing what our families experience, what the poor in New Orleans experience. Everybody, the hurricane was a great equalizer. So many times we heard, "I just want to go home." And home wasn't home anymore. In some instances, home wasn't. We could not minister as we used to minister. We could not live in our homes with the people with whom we are familiar. We had no cars, we had no phones, cell phones didn't work, we couldn't communicate, there was nothing. Our capacity to focus was absent. We refer to it even today as Katrina brain when we forget things, but it's a reality. When we are in this state, there are two temptations: to try harder. If we just get busy, get in there, clean all that gunk out, it'll all be fine. Or give up on the whole endeavor. Just kind of eke along, make do with what we have, get to a safe place. Neither of those works. In our life, there can be no pining for the past and no giving up on the whole enterprise. What we can do is to not move too quickly into an easy solution, which I think more instinctively than reflectively is what we tried to do. Gathering together, again, almost instinctively, that Labor Day weekend, just getting everybody together so that we could hug each other and begin to say what we knew and what we didn't know. The first thing was simply to get housing for the better than 50 sisters who could no longer live in New Orleans. My assistant, Sister Lawrence, was wonderful at that, absolutely tenacious. Our preschool, which was lost in Lakeview, is reopening in Metairie. Great need right now in the New Orleans area for childcare, great need. The Wonder Woman, who is the principal of our academy, and her assistant, a lay woman, performed miracles getting the academy open. It is open, it's been open since January, and when I see the faces of those girls who have been traumatized in their familiar surroundings, safe and happy, that in itself blesses me and gives me courage.
I always knew that there could be a storm that would destroy my beloved city. The signs were there, but down deep I never believed it would be in my lifetime, and especially not during my leadership watch. How does one lead when most of what I learned about leadership prior to Katrina was not available? Discernment, which is at the heart of leadership, takes time. We didn't have time. Our leadership team made life and death decisions to leave New Orleans, who would go where and with whom in 5 minutes. Communication, landlines, cell phones, internet, and postal service that we count on to keep us connected across the miles were not available at a time when we most needed communication. Resources, how much we depend upon resources. We had no time to gather those resources. No books, notes, files, financial records, records of any kind. The only way to lead our fragile, broken community was with the resources that were at home within. We are a missionary community, always being sent out to feed others. Post-Katrina, we learned to receive. We learned to ask for what we need. Katrina took what we had, but she could not touch who we are. She could not destroy our identity that lives within. It's the place where neither water, nor mold, nor wind, nor smell could touch.